That new Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga set is raging to come out here. We got to talk about some of the things we might be seeing in this set. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more OzCon. It's hilarious to me that with how many years this game has been around, there's still so many cards that have not had the opportunity to make their way into the game. And I heard Manga set, so, you know, celebrating 30 years of the game. There's a couple of little interesting cards that are very interesting. Now, some of those being some of there's a couple mask cards still running around that haven't been printed. Mask of Impregnability. The player protects themselves from enemy attacks this turn. That's actually interesting as a tech choice. Honestly, being able just to have a mask materialize, I guess there's also a skill for this from Umbral and Luma themselves from one of the games. That's very, very interesting. We also see Grave Arm. One monster on the field is dragged to the graveyard. We see a lot of these different particular cards that all just kind of do the same thing. Back into the Darkness drags a monster into the graveyard. Grave Arm drags a monster into the graveyard. It's just generic spot removal repurposed for generic purposes of the game, but they could definitely do some major flavorful upgrades with these cards. Now we get to see Magic Barrier. On the turn Magic Barrier is activated, your monsters reflect all magical attacks. Invis Media on the turn this is activated, the target monster is immune to any magical effects. Pretty straightforward card, honestly. The only thing that this card is doing is basically saying, hey, if dark magic attack beams through, you can Magical Barrier to deflect that. But that's the most manga logic that, you know, you can kind of throw at things. We do get Magical Neutralization Force. This is, I think, one of the coolest cards that ever existed within the game. All magic loses its effects on the field where this card is placed. If I recall correctly, you guys might remember Mind Control Part 2 is one of the places that we saw this. Episode 60, the Masters of the Magicians. And if I actually recall correctly, Pegasus versus Yugi being able to dispel the effects of Toon World. But this card's actually very, very, very iconic for what it actually was able to do for Yugi. We also have Tears of a Mermaid. I swear, every time we look at Pegasus's cards, Tears of a Mermaid is always brought up because for some reason we tend to avoid having this card be printed. I don't really get it. I don't understand why Tears of a Mermaid is always just outcasted from things. But activate the moment your opponent's face down card becomes face up. All enemy monster attacks become neutralized. So basically, your face down monster gets flipped face up, attack stops. I mean, sure, it's not great. Negative energy. Double the attack of all dark monsters on the field. Yes, yes, yes. Do you know this is one of the cards that we have been wanting to see released in the game for so long? Now, I think the reason why Konami's been so afraid to produce negative energy as a card because the card acts completely generic in the way that it is. Being able to just go, oh, hey, you know, my monster attack becomes crazy powerful is a little bit nuts. Now, the trade-off is this is a normal spell. You know, you're not going to have to worry about seeing, oh, hey, you know, like this card is insanely overbuffed. I mean, it is, yes, but the takeaway here is it's a normal spell. So I don't have to worry about walking in and getting blasted by a double attack point spell card. Yikes, if so. Nightmare Chains. Negate an opponent's trap card and then, excuse me, target a dark magician and render it unable to attack. That's actually crazy. We got some Broken-esque effects during this era. I also believe the Nightmare Mirror. Activate when an opponent's monster declares or attacks. By discarding one card from your hand, Nightmare Mirror reflects the opponent. It becomes the attack target, causing the opponent to take 1,000 damage. This is actually kind of a terrible card when you think about it. So the only thing that this does is you discard a card, you redirect the attack to the opponent at the cost of them just taking 1,000 life points. Can't the Dark Magician just attack directly at that point when you're reflecting it? Definitely, I love the art down here for this, though. That's pretty interesting. We also have the Metal Fiend token. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, the Fiend token itself was summoned off of the effect of Fiend Sanctuary. This technically is not a physical card, but there's been a topic of conversation about Metal Fiend or Fiend Sanctuary in general actually getting a new printing. Now, the reason for this is because Kaiba's become a topic of conversation for the next pack after the Brave set, which means, you gotta remember, the one that gave this card to Yugi was Kaiba himself. So it would make sense that we could get a Metal Fiend card itself that could be usable. And I think that would be actually sick to be able to see actually having use of this card. We do get the Zombie's Jewel. Activate when a spell card is placed in the opponent's graveyard. Take that card and add it to your hand, and the opponent draws one new card from their deck. Now, at the cost of giving your opponent a card here, you get the ability to just take a spell card that just went to the opponent's graveyard. Now, I don't really think that there's much of a great application in the way that this card could function in modern times, but I like the fact that you just have a, hey, I can take your spell card, and then you trade it off for a card. Sure. We have the Will of the Wajette. Activate when a monster attacks this turn. You can freely manipulate that monster. Activated when a monster attacks. Take control of the selected monster until the end phase of the turn that this card is activated. Okay, so basically, this is fine. I mean, this is a trap card. It says, you know, I mean, wouldn't the attack, if the monster attacks, the monster would become under my control, and then it would go back to you during the end phase, which, I mean, is fine. But I guess the caveat of this is, you know, the attack would technically stop because there would be a forced reset on the monsters on the field. Okay. Of course, Eye of Yuja activate. You can freely manipulate. This is the anime version. This actually looks pretty cool colorized. I'm not going to lie about that. Okay, what else we got back here? Whirlpool. You know, this looks like Time Space Travel. I'm not going to lie to you. So there's a crap ton of cards that never really got released or we ever actually got to know what they did. I feel like Konami or Yu-Gi-Oh! In general just kind of made up some cards to kind of fill the background void of some of like the things, and I think Whirlpool was just one of those cards that we're never going to know what it was actually designed to do. We have the Trap Displacement. When your opponent's trap activates, its effect becomes transferred to another monster. Okay, so the only thing that this is doing is it's redirecting a trap effect to another monster, which, I mean, is fine. Not every one of these displacement cards is going to be good. We also have Lyra the Giver. You can give your life stars to other monsters. Excuse me, what? During your main phase, you can add any life star counters on this card to another face-up monster. What the heck is a life star counter? Oh, these are multiple monsters that can produce these. So we have Ava, Greed Quasar, and Lyra the Giver. Ava Epsilon. When this card sends to the graveyard, you can add any life stars this card to another monster on the field. Okay. And then Greed Quasar. This card's attack and defense are equal to the number of life stars times 300. This card takes life stars of the opponent it defeats in battle for itself. And okay, so this is just a monster that just gets bigger and bigger. I'd love to actually see some of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff get remade to get a little bit better. And then virus cards. So Alpha Wave Emission, all monsters on the field cannot declare an attack and lose 300 attack. Okay, well, what is the, you know, this is a virus card. So a little bit of a reminder here. There are two properties for virus cards that were shown normal and field. Two virus cards have been seen in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, Crush Card and Virus Cannon. But they had other cards that changed the type of the anime. Crush Card is a normal trap card, although it's displayed as a spell card in the early dub episodes. And Virus Cannon is a normal spell card, though it is displayed as a trap card in the dub. In the OCG, Crush Card and Virus Cannon were released as normal trap cards. Seto Kaiba uses some of the virus cards. And this is your, you know, classification of the virus. But these were definitely I want to see like more virus cards coming along, because these were just like some very, very, very interesting tech cards within the show, and obviously it needs to be explored. So what do you guys think about, what can still come from what's not been developed? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back there in day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.